While I-DLE Soyeon is now credited as one of the top female rappers and producers, her journey to stardom wasn't easy at all. She had to overcome a lot of spectacles throughout her career, and it's possible that if it weren't for her, I-DLE wouldn't even be able to debut. Soyeon now has dozens of songs under her name, and her passion for songwriting started when she was just a trainee. However, many are surprised to find out that she actually got judged a lot for this. In an interview with Teen Vogue, Soyeon opened up about what it was like to be a female trainee wanting to write and compose songs. She recalled that there weren't a lot of female idols interested in music production, so when she stated that she'd like to give it a try, everyone thought it was quite strange. Back then, the vast majority of producers were men, so there wasn't a lot of space for women who wanted to pursue the same thing. You can already imagine the reactions when Soyeon would cite G-Dragon or Jiko as her inspiration for music production. Instead of being pushed to do her best, she would be told that it's okay for other idols to write their own music because they're men. Since the double standards for men and women were even worse a few years ago than they are right now, people around Soyeon were wary of her interest in music composition. Although Soyeon is widely recognized as a rapper and producer, her impact as a fashion icon often goes unnoticed. From casual streetwear to elegant feminine styles, she's known for pulling off any look effortlessly. And the best part? You can recreate her signature outfits without breaking the bank, all through fashionchingu.com. On fashionchingu.com, you'll find styles similar to what Soyeon has worn before. Plus, if there's another idol or group you're thinking of, you can easily search their website for pieces inspired by their looks. Not only that, but you can find a range of accessories, merch, and even fashion inspiration and tips if you're looking to keep up with trends or explore fresh ideas. Visit fashionchingu.com today and dress with the same iconic style as your favorite idols without the hefty price tag. Interestingly enough though, Soyeon didn't actually want to become the main producer for her group. While she was interested in music production and composition, it was never her intention to become the driving force behind I-DLE. In 2020, MTV News held an interview with her where she opened up about becoming the group's main songwriter out of urgency. Soyeon said, "At first I didn't really know I'd be writing these songs, but our debut was getting delayed because we didn't have a song." Soyeon then got to work and tried to create something out of the very few resources she had, and she had basically none. Cube Entertainment didn't even have any licensed programs for production and composition, so she had to use a pirated version, which later turned into a controversy. To explain, in 2019, Soyeon got herself in hot waters with the public when she was exposed for using quite a few illegally pirated programs. Most of the programs and software were intended for music production, and at that time were sold online for at least $400 each. Netizens weren't very happy about this revelation, claiming Soyeon was violating other people's copyrights and in turn shouldn't be earning money from her copyright royalties. In Soyeon's official response to the matter, she clarified that she used illegal software when she was first starting to learn about composing music because she wanted to use a variety of programs. She also assured fans and netizens that she had only used official and licensed software since she had become fully committed to her production. Still, I-DLE's debut song was produced on one of these pirated programs, proving just how dedicated Soyeon was. Cube also commented on the matter, admitting that they failed to provide her with all the things necessary for their creative process. One of the possible reasons why Soyeon's agency was unable to support her was because Cube was facing severe financial problems. In 2016, the company lost almost $6 million, so it's no surprise that the start of I-DLE's career was difficult. The group's debut album wasn't received well by the public, and since they had essentially zero support from their company, the album didn't even sell 300 copies. In addition to that, Cube failed to provide the members with professional choreographers. While other artists would probably just accept their fate and wait until the company has the necessary funds, Soyeon and the rest of the I-DLE members stepped up and came up with the performance for La Tada all by themselves. As you can see, Cube's lack of support didn't stop their dedication in the slightest, which is why the members attracted more and more fans with each comeback. Most of the credit belongs to Soyeon though, who really stepped up and handled many things at once. Back in the day, she even used to make PowerPoint presentations for their comebacks, explaining everything in detail, hoping that the company would agree with her ideas and suggestions. She's been the group's main producer since the beginning, but for some time after their debut, Soyeon had to handle the music video filming as well as their outfits and makeup. It's because of their active participation in their entire creative process that the group's popularity popularity grew and grew until they became one of the most loved girl groups in K-pop. Since their debut, Soyeon managed to become one of the most independent female K-pop idol in the industry thanks to her creative freedom, and any agency would surely be lucky to have her. In 2021, Soyeon secured a spot in her KOMCA list as the first fourth-generation female idol, and her influence has only grown since then. However, while it might look like the agency just let Soyeon and the girls do whatever they thought to be best, Soyeon opened up about the time when she and the company really butted heads. When Soyeon was a guest on Monsta X's IM show I Am on the Beat, she revealed that the worst case of Cube being unsupportive was in 2020 when I-DLE released the title track Dum Da Dum Day. Despite Soyeon working so hard on all of her songs, the company didn't favor the new title track, and they tried their best to push her to use a different song. There were also attempts to use someone else's song, which she found unacceptable. She explained that Cube became completely uncooperative and that the situation escalated to the point where the company rebelled against the song. Despite the constant pushback, Soyeon remained set on her ways and even decided to put her name on the line, promising the company that if they let her release the song, she would take responsibility for any damages. Cube finally agreed, and thankfully Soyeon didn't have to fix any damage because the song was a huge success. Looking at how Soyeon and the rest of the members have proved to be competent in their craft and how they're basically the main breadwinners in the company, you would think that they would be treated like royalty. However, the truth couldn't be any different. Cube actually limits the resources given to them, which results in the girls having to pay for things out of their own pocket. It was even revealed that the girls paid half of the budget for their Super Lady music video. The cost was actually extremely high because of the production and the insane number of dancers and extras on set. There were 100 dancers and 500 extras, so the cost climbed up to a whopping $821,000. It's said that the members paid half of the price, which was the cost of the music video, and the company paid the other half. On top of that, Soyeon also paid for the encore stage of the songs they performed during one of their concerts. Seeing how many things Soyeon does for the agency and how little she receives from them, many netizens wondered if she would be better off somewhere else, where she would be appreciated a lot more and actually give her the means to become even better at her craft. Well, after a very public feud between Soyeon and Cube, netizens are more sure than ever that the two might be going their separate ways soon. Back in August of 2024, Soyeon hinted at her departure from Cube during her performance of Is This Bad B Number. Soyeon shocked everyone when she said, "Contract ends in November, who's going to stop me? Nobody can touch me, I've already paid the cost." After Soyeon's jab at her company during her performance, Cube seemingly got afraid because they immediately clarified that it was all part of Soyeon's performance and that all I-DLE's members are set to renew their contracts together next year. Soon after, Korean media reported that Cube grew uneasy about Soyeon's performance, and her comment about her contract ending in November even raised concerns among the company's investors. Then, other reports started coming out about Cube claiming Soyeon didn't discuss the performance with them beforehand, which didn't make sense at all since the words were displayed behind her on screen when she was performing. To everyone following the situation, it seemed like Cube got scared when their investors got involved and tried to put the blame on Soyeon instead of taking accountability and admitting their mistakes. Then, other reports tried to save the situation by releasing another statement claiming that someone was making reports on their behalf and that they hadn't released any official statement, thus, this was their first time addressing the situation. A lot of netizens didn't buy this, especially since Soyeon herself clarified that the performance didn't involve any lies and that she didn't hide anything from the company. Following this entire fiasco, many of their fans were sure that she would leave the company after her contract expired. On October 24th, 2024, Export News released an exclusive report where they revealed that Soyeon and Cube recently discussed the potential renewal of her contract. What prompted their fans to be sure that Soyeon would be moving agencies was the fact that, according to the report, these discussions did not result in an agreement. Because of this, it's very likely that Soyeon will part ways with the company as soon as her current contract expires, which is this month. Many netizens hope that because of her history with Cube, Soyeon will choose an agency that will support her and appreciate her hard work as an artist. We're excited to see what the future holds for I-DLE's dear leader, and we'll definitely be cheering her on. BTS's Taehyung has had an uphill battle with his management concerning his latest album and vinyl release Layover, and fans are more concerned than ever about the alleged mistreatment that HYBE has been subjecting Taehyung to for many years now. For all the excitement surrounding the release of Taehyung's debut album, fans have been left feeling bewildered by how terribly HYBE has handled basically everything, from the album's limited availability to the promotions. To start with, it was noted that Taehyung's profile photo on the BTS US website still hadn't been updated when he released Layover, which, while small, is a very significant part of any new project promotion. While things started small, HYBE's negligence seemingly quickly became more and more shameless, as they had even gone as far as unexpectedly taking down his fan cams for copyright. Popular fan cams of Taehyung, including some with millions of views, have been mysteriously disappearing from social media for some time now. Even the iconic Pied Piper fan cam was taken down, which was considered pretty controversial in fandom spaces. The removal of Taehyung's fan cams hasn't been limited to fan-posted videos alone. Even official music show fan cams that feature Taehyung in solo performances seem to be mysteriously losing views, which fans believe could be intentional. In particular, they noticed that views on Taehyung's fan cams were dropping while those of other BTS members remained stable or continued to rise. Adding fuel to the fire, it was also noted that Taehyung's fan cam titles are sometimes formatted differently than those of other BTS members. All these inconsistencies have left people wondering if there is a specific reason for singling him out in this way, because if HYBE were truly supportive of him, there would be no difference in treatment between him and other members. Others have also pointed out that this definitely isn't the first time Taehyung appears to be treated differently by the company. After a deeper dive into this issue, many began recalling past instances where they felt HYBE treated Taehyung differently, even from his early days in BTS. It was brought up that both the Korean and American PR teams have been severely lacking in promoting Taehyung compared to other members for many years now. However, that doesn't compare to how the distribution of the layover vinyl has been handled, or rather mishandled. One of the easiest ways for fans to support their favorite artists has always been to buy albums, which is why Taehyung's album distribution was incredibly concerning. People quickly noticed that layover vinyl copies have been unusually low on stock, as big retailers like Target reportedly had almost no copies available, leaving buyers frustrated. The situation doesn't seem to be getting better because, despite the repeated calls for restocks, it seems these requests have gone completely unanswered. This has led fans to find other solutions, such as purchasing digital versions on Japanese iTunes as a last-ditch effort to support Taehyung's Billboard chart performance. However, this situation goes beyond stock issues, as HYBE gave almost no promotional push for Taehyung's release, barely posting anything to support it. To many, this silence from the label, who clearly had all the necessary resources to support their artists, seemed to signal a lack of respect for Taehyung and his hard work, as many began to seriously wonder why he wasn't getting the same marketing push as other HYBE artists. Things only got worse from there, as it was reported that a lot of people experienced severe shipping delays after ordering their layover albums. In fact, a lot of fans hadn't even received their orders by the time the tracking period ended, meaning all the delayed sales wouldn't go toward the final chart results for Billboard. This was seen as clear sabotage, as people took to social media to call out HYBE and its associated labels for not respecting Taehyung as one of their biggest artists. "Stop sabotaging your artist" quickly became a widespread phrase amongst the fandom, and for good reason. Many were downright disappointed and saddened to see how the release of his first solo album was going so terribly, all because of the label's incompetence. In fact, some ironically said that if HYBE wanted to sabotage Taehyung so badly, they should at least have the decency not to be so obvious about it. It appears that as soon as the tracking period ended, retailers suddenly received restocks of the album, which makes it seem like a clear effort from HYBE to affect Taehyung's numbers on the charts. In addition to all of these, a shocking reveal from HYBE's recently leaked documents made it very clear that HYBE was well aware of Taehyung's low numbers and was, in fact, letting things progress without doing anything about it. Surprisingly, it was also disclosed that the rumors of his alleged relationship with Blackpink's Jennie at the time were used as a shield for the rest of BTS. HYBE suggested that the public's focus on the rumors could give the other members some privacy. They argued that if the two were actually in a relationship, it would shift attention away from the others' personal lives. Their lack of concern for his privacy highlighted their negligence, as it seems like they're treating their artists more as tools to manage situations that the label should handle on their own. It's safe to say that fans didn't respond well to this, especially after receiving confirmation that HYBE could have done something to lessen Taehyung's burden when he was facing all those rumors, but chose not to, instead using it to their advantage. Not only that, but just recently, HYBE officially credited Taehyung with the Gold Disc Platinum certification for Layover, as it sold over 250,000 copies in Japan. But fans quickly noticed something odd, as Taehyung had actually achieved these numbers during the album's first week of sales, which was over a year ago. This delay in awarding his certification has led people to question why HYBE took so long to recognize a feat that is typically celebrated as soon as it's achieved. Overall, the seeming lack of effort in promoting and ensuring its availability has fans wondering why Taehyung, despite being part of BTS, isn't receiving the kind of support they believe he has earned. Why is it that HYBE is so happy to blatantly use him as a scapegoat? After all, BTS were the ones who made HYBE into the conglomerate that it is today, so the fact that the label can't even be bothered to promote the members properly seems bizarre. This also made fans dig a bit deeper into the severe mistreatment, and many have come to the conclusion that there's way more to the story, leading to theories that it may actually be related to the fact that he worked with Min Hee-jin. The collaboration between Taehyung and Min Hee-jin took netizens by surprise when it was first announced in August of last year. Min Hee-jin, previously CEO of Adore, was tasked with the music, choreography, and promotional style of Layover, giving her a lot of influence over Taehyung's project. Some netizens initially questioned the pairing, unsure how Min Hee-jin's artistic choices would fit with Taehyung's unique style, but it quickly became apparent that they were actually a good match. However, it didn't take long for theories to come out about whether the strained relationship between HYBE and Min Hee-jin was spilling over into the way the label treated Taehyung's album release and their lack of support. One theory that has gained traction is that HYBE, out of pettiness toward Min Hee-jin, chose to limit the promotional resources given to the album, even if that decision would ultimately hurt Taehyung. Fans voiced their confusion and frustration at this idea, wondering why Taehyung should be caught in the crossfire, especially since this could only end up hurting the company as well. It was particularly shocking to think that HYBE's feelings toward Min Hee-jin could be powerful enough to affect Taehyung's entire career, with one fan perfectly explaining the collective confusion. No matter how much they might dislike Min Hee-jin, it's still Taehyung we're talking about, right? I just can't understand why they would act like that. What kind of company behaves this way? To many netizens, it's unimaginable that a company as powerful and successful as HYBE would let internal issues affect the way they handle an artist as big as him, but for now, many feel that the evidence is becoming difficult to ignore. Netizens especially feel like this is just more proof that HYBE might have something against Min Hee-jin's involvement. But as fans continue to analyze HYBE's alleged mistreatment of their artist, many are bringing up past instances where Taehyung and even Jungkook seemed uncertain about renewing their contracts with the company. Longtime fans remember that BTS's decision to renew their contracts wasn't an easy one, especially considering some members reported frustrations with the company's management several times in the past. In particular, Taehyung and Jungkook had shocked everyone as they expressed doubts about staying in HYBE, citing creative differences and feeling constrained under the label management. While the group ultimately decided to stay, it's believed that Taehyung and Jungkook's hesitations may still linger, especially given the many ongoing controversies surrounding HYBE. It's known that BTS members have openly discussed that the group faced a crucial turning point during their contract renewal period back in 2021, with Yoongi even sharing some of the difficult feelings they had at the time. He spoke about how while working on the album and discussing their contract renewals, he, along with Namjoon and Hoseok, poured their heart out regarding their feelings for the group and each other in their song Tear. Taehyung then later shared how deeply Yoongi's words affected him, explaining that he and Jungkook both felt uplifted after seeing how their members had been vulnerable with fans, and it actually encouraged them to stay positive and motivated for the future of the group. It's what eventually led to the members renewing their contract, as it was a way for them to choose each other and their beloved fans, and not as much about the company itself, which had caused them so much trouble. For many, just the possibility that BTS's members might have considered disbandment speaks to the level of pressure they face within the industry and the internal issues that the company has been giving them. After seeing how Taehyung was treated this year, more and more people are now concerned about what kind of decisions he might make about his future, especially since the group activities have taken such a long hiatus because of the mandatory military service. Despite the struggles and mistreatment, it's clear that even if Taehyung or any member leaves HYBE, BTS's bond with each other and their fans will remain strong. There's nothing that the company can do to ruin this. HYBE's treatment of NewJeans over the past few years has left many fans concerned about the group's future. However, with recent details emerging, the public is now questioning whether the company is actually thinking of putting an end to them altogether. NewJeans got swept up in this fiasco back in April of 2024, and as we all know, it turned into a huge power struggle between Adore and HYBE. Since they're the only artists under Adore, the NewJeans members have been on Min Hee-jin's side since the beginning. They made their stance clear during the infamous live stream in September of this year when they demanded that Min Hee-jin be reinstated as CEO again. While it hasn't been said explicitly, many netizens got the idea that Min Hee-jin was the only person who ever tried to protect them from HYBE's mistreatment, at least based on what the girls were saying. It was heavily suspected that NewJeans weren't protected by HYBE's management, as they did nothing when the members came to them and shared their concerns about being ignored and ostracized by the higher-ups. These theories became closer to the truth once HYBE was actually exposed for tampering with NewJeans' Japanese sales. Generally, beyond the live stream from the members and small insights from Min Hee-jin, the truth behind the scenes remained mostly hidden. That changed when Hani testified at the National Assembly audit, but she still couldn't tell the whole truth. A couple of weeks later, possibly the biggest controversy in HYBE's history broke out when their internal documents were leaked, and the gravity of the situation became clear to everyone. In the documents, it was actually revealed that the company's staff had been planning to kick out NewJeans completely. The document stated that after I-DLE debuted and received the popularity that put them in the same ranks as NewJeans and Sserafim, multiple media outlets started referring to the trio as New I-DLE. This nickname was used to compliment the groups as a new generation of HYBE idols. Seemingly, HYBE staff didn't like this because they had plans to remove the new from the acronym and create a whole different category that would benefit Sserafim more. In their documents, the company mentioned that when the acronym New I-DLE was used by media outlets or even online communities, people started to mention I-DLE more than NewJeans or Sserafim. So their plan was to tie Sserafim into the category of the girl groups who sold millions and quite literally position them as the best of the best, and in the process, NewJeans would be completely kicked out of the category. On top of everything, an alleged HYBE employee exposed several pages of the HYBE Weekly Music Industry Trend Report in which NewJeans had been dubbed as Sserafim's mutually helpful competitor. The document said that if Sserafim were to benefit from the conflicting situation against this team, it needed to perform well, but the situation was unfortunate as, according to them, the team can't live up to the expectation of being a mutually helpful competitor. Through these reports, it became clear that HYBE has been trying to pit NewJeans against other groups. The leak of HYBE's internal documents quickly went viral and became a hot topic among netizens, especially the part when they had been talking about disposing of NewJeans. One of them questioned why HYBE had used the term dispose of when they didn't even create NewJeans in the first place. They went on to say that the agency is probably not going to simply throw them away, but systematically ruin the whole group. Another commenter wondered if they actually created I-DLE so they can serve as a placeholder for when NewJeans are out of the company. People also pointed out that HYBE could have handled things differently so the situation could have benefited everyone. NewJeans, I-DLE, and Sserafim could have been promoted with great success, and neither of the groups would have suffered any damage in the process. Another piece of evidence of HYBE's alleged shady ways came from Cat's Eye's documentary. It was revealed during one of the episodes that before the group made its debut in 2024, there were a few suggestions for the name. Apart from Cat's Eye, the other highly suggested name was New Crazy. While many might ignore this, the leaked internal documents caused netizens to theorize that HYBE might have wanted to use New Crazy as a way to replace NewJeans. One commenter shared they've been really creeped out by HYBE's process of stealing, copying, and replacing. While some netizens think that the name New Crazy could have been just an embarrassing coincidence and a suggestion, most people think it was purposefully targeted at NewJeans. A user wrote, "They were even planning to name an entire group after this plan to replace NewJeans, so HYBE is really like that?" In addition to that, according to online users, HYBE's sabotage of NewJeans can easily be classified as a breach of trust. Ironically, this was the same reason the agency cited as grounds for wanting to let Min Hee-jin go. However, it appears their supposed attempts to undermine NewJeans' career go beyond the recently released internal documents. This issue seems to have been unfolding for some time. Back in May of 2024, NewJeans released the music video for the song How Sweet. Just a few hours later, a YouTube channel published a video claiming NewJeans had plagiarized two different songs for their release. Since the video was posted so quickly after How Sweet came out, netizens grew extremely suspicious that it was HYBE attempting to ruin the group's comeback. Their suspicion grew when they checked that the accusatory video was posted on a YouTube channel with no other videos and the name Tear Not, which sounded awfully familiar to Sserafim's fandom name Fear Not. The feud between NewJeans and HYBE has started to negatively affect their performances with various brands as well. It was recently revealed that because of the controversy, the group has fallen out of the top 100 rankings from brand reputation charts. An analysis showed that NewJeans consistently ranked at the top, but a recent anonymous post revealed that the group has been facing a significant decline, and by September of this year, they completely dropped out of the rankings. Interestingly enough, the sharp decline came after NewJeans were dubbed the top girl group at the 2024 Brand of the Year Awards, which was hosted by the Korea Consumer Forum. So, when a fan decided to contact a representative from brand reputation ranking directly to find the reason for this dip in popularity, the representative claimed the NewJeans situation was very familiar to 50/50's case. When the fan retaliated that the two cases couldn't have been more different and said that they would make the phone call public, the representative didn't hesitate to threaten the fan, claiming they would sue them for defamation. Netizens on online forums discussed the situation, claiming that these brand rankings are rigged and manipulated by entertainment companies. A user also mentioned that HYBE might not be scrapping NewJeans completely, but putting them on a shelf and slowly ruining their reputations, as it seems to be more convenient so they don't have to go through the whole ordeal of terminating their contracts. Despite Despite the initial reaction, NewJeans have been met with immense support ever since the documents were released. At first, after Honey appeared at the audit, many thought that her testimony had the opposite effect and ended up downplaying the other instances where the mistreatment towards idols was much more severe. People claimed that if something way more serious was going on, Jin, the members or Adore staff would have made it public way sooner. International fans were also pretty quick to label NewJeans as entitled or privileged, dismissing their concerns and claiming that the members got everything handed to them. In particular, they mentioned the fact that HYBE invested millions of dollars into the group's debut and their luxurious penthouse, which the girls used as dorms. Once the documents were made public, though, and people realized that there was more to the story than the girls could say, their opinion on the entire matter changed, and they began to realize the impact NewJeans had in uncovering HYBE's secrets. Many netizens praised Hani for speaking up, saying that it's because of her that the company is now getting exposed for bad-mouthing the entire industry and for other horrible things they've done over the years. Given these circumstances, there's a huge question mark when it comes to NewJeans' future. In October, it was revealed that the group wasn't included in the company's October to December schedule. They were expected to release a new album in the latter half of 2024, but their activities are strangely completely missing from the report. Back in October, it was revealed that the preparations for NewJeans' album were halted due to the feud between the two companies, which sparked outrage among fans. They went on to accuse HYBE of purposefully tampering with the group's activities and endangering their future. Many netizens couldn't comprehend how HYBE could just shelve a plan for an entire full album, especially since the girls have worked so hard ever since their debut and admittedly brought in a lot of revenue for HYBE. It's hard to determine how the future will look for NewJeans. Most of their activities have been put on hold, so it's very likely we won't be seeing any new music from them this year. On Reddit, people wondered if there's any good way out for the members out of this mess, and the general consensus is that it will be resolved legally in court. One user commented that the most likely outcome is that HYBE will keep NewJeans and put them on a hiatus until their contracts end naturally, or they will be terminating their contracts. Unfortunately, when idols terminate their contracts or vice versa, they don't usually do as well again, and some of them disappear from the scene completely. Another Reddit user stated that NewJeans could continue on with their successful career if both the group and HYBE reached a compromise. Since there's no sight of anything like this happening, everything is once again pointing out that this will become a court case in the near future. Many people also mentioned that the girls should break away from Jin, claiming that they have been brainwashed by the former CEO and this is only doing damage to their career. Generally, everyone is hoping that the members will be able to get out of this situation unscathed, because it would be such a waste if all of their hard work turned into nothing because of petty company fights. Over 2 years have passed since Garam left Sserafim, and while it was initially believed that it was due to serious accusations, recent information hints that she may have actually been a victim used as a promotional tool to stir rivalry with other groups. It all began on April 5th, 2022, the same day Garam was introduced as a member of Sserafim, when an online post surfaced accusing her of mistreating classmates. This quickly spiraled, with allegations ranging from tormenting to claims that she was originally meant to debut with IVE but was dropped by Starship Entertainment due to alleged bad behavior. HYBE was quick to respond, denying the accusations and stating that Garam was actually the victim of the situation while warning of legal action against those spreading the rumors. The initial allegations led to a wave of rumors and speculation, with stories varying from plausible to completely fabricated. Things only intensified when the law firm Taehyung came out to publicly represent an alleged victim of Garam's named Yoo Eun-so. The firm issued a statement detailing how Garam's actions allegedly harmed the alleged victim's mental health to the point that she harmed herself. Taehyung also claimed that they had sent evidence of Garam's behavior to HYBE but received no response, leading them to make everything public. Their statement triggered widespread public anger, sparking demands for her removal from both the group and the industry. Although HYBE denied the allegations, they ultimately put Garam on an indefinite hiatus, and Sserafim continued as a 5-member group. This hiatus only fueled further speculations about what the truth was, as some fans suspected HYBE was simply waiting for the public to move on, with the intent to bring Garam back without addressing any consequences. Despite the differing opinions on the situation, it was widely believed back then that HYBE and Source Music did everything in their power to keep Garam in the company and to handle things to the best of their abilities. Her activities were put on hold, rumors were tackled, and they seemed to be working on collecting evidence to clear her name. However, when none of that worked, Garam's contract with the company was terminated on July 20th, 2022, and she left the group. This was supposed to be it, but Garam's fans weren't convinced she was guilty, especially since she hadn't spoken spoken out about the whole thing even once. In their opinion, it wasn't fair that everyone got to share their side of the story while Garam had to remain silent. Their wishes were finally fulfilled as just 2 months after leaving, she decided to release a statement of her own and share her perspective. Garam uploaded a statement to her friend's Instagram account where she acknowledged that she hadn't always been on her best behavior at school. However, she insisted she had never hit or hurt anyone physically, was never forced to switch schools, smoked, or drank alcohol. In her statement, she also talked about receiving Degree 5 disciplinary action from the school committee. She explained that a classmate was spreading gossip and sharing photos of other students in their underwear. Trying to help those affected, she confronted her classmates and used strong language, later realizing that her approach was wrong and misguided. Garam said, "At that time, my method was incorrect and I made a lot of mistakes, but I do not want to hate my past self." Her revelations didn't come as a surprise to those who thought the scandal was exaggerated in the first place. What was unexpected, however, was Garam presenting real evidence of her innocence. She shared a document from the school countermeasure committee supporting her account of a confrontation with a classmate regarding an inappropriate social media post. While this led to people thinking that they were both troublemakers, the document that Garam provided mostly managed to sway public opinion in her favor. Many began to reconsider their stance as they saw her differently. She was no longer viewed as a villain who harmed someone else, but rather as a victim of a situation that spiraled out of control. This also had everyone wondering why HYBE hadn't presented this document beforehand. If they genuinely tried their best to protect Garam and the group, why didn't they allow her to share her own statement earlier? And why didn't they release the document from the school committee showing that the situation wasn't serious enough to damage her chances of being an idol? One would expect that would be their priority, but instead they left Garam to deal with everything alone and removed her from the group. Her removal also had harsh effects on both her and Sserafim. The group became known for losing a member just 2 months after its debut due to accusations of mistreatment, and for Garam, these events shattered any chance of building a career in the industry. Garam has kept a low profile since she was basically kicked out. She returned to school, completed her studies at Seoul's School of Performing Arts with a focus on acting, and reportedly passed the initial application process for the prestigious acting program at Dongguk University. Although no longer an idol, she appears committed to pursuing a career in acting, and things seem to be progressing well for her. However, aside from her fans and rare updates, most people moved on from Garam as Sserafim continued to succeed as a 5-member group. That was until now, when some new revelations came to light that completely shocked the public. On October 24th, during a Culture, Sports, and Tourism Committee audit, Democratic Party lawmaker Representative Min Hyung-bae disclosed a document from HYBE titled Weekly Music Industry Report, distributed to its senior executives and affiliates. The report covered a range of things, from remarks on idols' looks to allegations that aespa's Winter had copied Sserafim's Chaewon's hairstyle, along with hints about possibly ditching NewJeans. It was through these reports that people came to the conclusion that HYBE is allegedly responsible for why Garam wasn't properly protected during her scandal. The company's report on Garam's scandal starts by talking about her introduction as a member, highlighting how netizens praised her beauty and likened her to actresses like Go Yoon-jung and Go Min-shi. However, it notes that the following day, rumors of mistreatment emerged, leading to intense backlash against her. The report emphasizes that there was no evidence supporting these claims and mentions unverified rumors about her being a trainee at Starship, where she allegedly faced expulsion due to attitude problems. It was also said that one of the most damaging allegations stemmed from a photo of her in front of a blackboard with inappropriate words on it. It seems that the company feared that netizens would continue to harbor negative feelings toward her because of this photo, even if the mistreatment rumors were disproven. The report also notes that when aespa debuted, various rumors circulated about them, which actually boosted its popularity. It appears that HYBE viewed this as an opportunity to promote their own group in a similar way. The analysis goes on to say that a photo of a blackboard, which was shared during Garam's scandal, featuring the phrase "defeat I-DLE," sparked a rivalry with I-DLE even before Sserafim's debut, which seemingly helped the latter attract attention. An emerging divide among former IZ*ONE members Jang Won-young, An Yoo-jin, Sakura, and Kim Chae-won was also mentioned, which the company aimed to leverage for promotional purposes. In their own words, if this could be publicly turned into a competitive narrative and lead Sserafim to surpass other rookie girl groups, it could result in a positive trend. It turns out the photo of the Defeat I-DLE board was taken before Garam transferred schools, meaning she had no connection to it whatsoever. However, However, HYBE seemed unfazed by this in their report, as they suggested that even if the rumors about her leaving IVE weren't true, they could still use them for marketing. One idea was to have the group cover an IVE song to shift the narrative to the one spreading the rumors. They also noted that having Garam compete with Wonyoung on Music Bank could help improve her image. For HYBE, the internal leak issue is the most frustrating aspect of the controversy. They noted that even before the teasers were released, there were reports about someone revealing the team's lineup and timeline. In Garam's situation, they said that there were hints about her troubled past, which would imply that HYBE already knew about her behavior issues before they became public. The reports left Garam's fans furious, especially since HYBE and others had acted like they were doing everything possible to support her and keep her in the group. Instead, it appears they did the opposite, letting her handle the backlash alone and even using it to fuel a rivalry with another group. A fan of hers wrote, "Garam was painted as a vile person and a liar by the adults she thought she could trust. Every single person failed her so miserably, it's actually appalling." Others pointed out that the company didn't even have any intention of protecting her. They just saw her situation as something they could use for noise marketing to promote Le Sserafim, all at the cost of her future. In the past, an alleged friend of Garam had also suggested that her debut amidst the scandal might have been a strategy by HYBE for noise marketing, claiming it was all planned to generate buzz for the group. This friend stated she gathered supportive statements and evidence from others, but said HYBE chose not to use them, missing an opportunity to defend Garam's reputation. The alleged friend said, "They used an 18-year-old high schooler for noise marketing and kicked her out like that." While Garam seems to be doing fine now and has managed to clear her name, it's still sad to think that we never got to see what she could offer as an idol. Garam clearly had a strong connection with the other members, and they cared for her deeply, yet she was treated unfairly by the company, removed from the group's history, and wronged in many ways by the people she was supposed to trust. All we can do is hope that we see her in the future, whether that's as an actress or as an idol, as we're sure she will be successful in any area. Recently, fans of HYBE's girl groups have noticed stark differences in how Le Sserafim is managed compared to other artists in the company, making everyone think that the company has some sort of preference towards the group. From exclusive opportunities to more visible support, Le Sserafim seems to be enjoying what some would call princess treatment from their company ever since they first debuted in 2022. Many fans have criticized the fact that HYBE and their CEO Bong Si-hyuk have been going above and beyond to promote Le Serafim's career as compared to other groups. This belief really started when fans noticed Bong Si-hyuk himself visiting Le Serafim's pop-up store in person, showing a level of personal support that he has yet to display for most of his groups. Fans who happened to be at the store watched as he arrived, bought up a massive amount of group merchandise, and even loaded it into his personal car. The gesture spoke volumes, as the members weren't even present at the store that day. This was seemingly a completely personal decision out of pure love for the group, as he wasn't there for interactions and simply wanted to support them out of his own pocket. It's also very clear that he would be aware of the kind of publicity this would cause, as this wasn't the first time that the company had been criticized for giving all its attention to Le Sserafim. At this point, it's very well known that Bong Si-hyuk seems to be more personally involved with Le Sserafim than any other of his active groups, as he even named the group himself and often spends time with the group in person. In fact, the group even seemed to prove exactly how unusually close the founder is to them while on an episode of Eunchae's Star Diary, hosted by Le Sserafim's Eunchae. The segment took an unexpected turn when one fan asked which Le Sserafim member was the closest to Chairman Bong, which gave the girls an idea of texting him to see who he would respond to the fastest. While the girls are perceived as being personally close to him, they still appeared very nervous to text their chairman. Eunchae even asked if she could just not send a message, since she didn't need to know if she'd get a response. However, the texts were sent, and the replies started rolling in after about 40 minutes, with Yoonjin even receiving 4 replies from him. Even the members were shocked by his friendliness and thoughtful gesture of replying to all of them so fast. Initially, fans thought the exchange was adorable and found it endearing, as they called Le Sserafim cute for being nervous about something so simple. However, it didn't take long before netizens caught on to the fact that this was clearly showing some favoritism. For fans of NewJeans especially, this level of involvement struck a nerve, as many left comments saying things like, "So I guess Le Sserafim was HYBE's princesses all along." One fan even made a very pointed comparison, as they likened the situation to Cinderella and her stepsisters. Many pointed out that none of his other groups seem to have had moments like these with Bong Si-hyuk. In fact, NewJeans in particular had many opposite experiences, as the company is often criticized for neglecting the the group. Many even pointed out that they couldn't even imagine him interacting in a friendly way with the NewJeans members, claiming that his warm replies to Sserafim showed his clear preference between his girl groups. It didn't take long before this point was proven either, as just a few months later, Bong Si-hyuk was accused of snubbing the NewJeans members in person, something which became a huge controversy. The incident allegedly involved one of the members crossing paths with the chairman and greeting him, but received no acknowledgement in return. To make matters worse, NewJeans' parents eventually got involved as they expressed their frustration in an open letter to HYBE about how badly the group had been treated. In their letter, NewJeans' parents explained how the group had been HYBE's initial focus as its first girl group project, only to be overshadowed by Sserafim's debut and their rapid rise in the industry. They voiced their frustration over what they felt were broken promises and the company's alleged neglect of NewJeans during their early days as trainees, going as far as to make the girls feel like they weren't welcomed in the company. However, HYBE soon released a statement denying the claims, saying that Bong Si-hyuk had never intentionally avoided NewJeans and regretted that both NewJeans and their parents had to get involved in the matter. Yet, this statement didn't seem to change fans' opinions. Many pointed out that Bong Si-hyuk's frequent support for Sserafim, including the playful texting segment, painted a very different picture of what was actually going on. The public believes that this all comes down to the fact that Sserafim holds a unique position in HYBE's portfolio as the first girl group launched after BTS. This alone puts a heavy load of expectations on their shoulders, as many see them as a make-or-break act for HYBE's future of working with girl groups. With BTS's massive success as a backdrop, HYBE's promotional efforts for Sserafim were designed to push the group into the global spotlight in a very similar fashion. On top of that, Sserafim gave Bong Si-hyuk a chance to show he could lead a successful girl group, especially after the chaotic downfall and disbandment of Glam. From high-profile promotions to constant media coverage, HYBE has made sure that Sserafim stays at the forefront of the K-pop industry, an effort that Bong Si-hyuk personally contributes to. HYBE's clear support reflects their goal of elevating Sserafim to the level of BTS and other top girl groups. However, many feel like these efforts could be more spread out as they aren't the only group under the company. Some fans even feel like this puts too much pressure on the group as all eyes are constantly on them, criticizing everything they do, all because of Bong Si-hyuk's dream. A recent leak of internal HYBE documents has only made the situation worse as the company's true plans for the group were exposed. According to these documents, HYBE believes that Sserafim could become the next Blackpink or Twice, aiming to combine the best qualities of both iconic girl groups. The report pointed out that while Blackpink had major success at Coachella and engaged with international celebrities, their management and teamwork faced criticism. Meanwhile, Twice has had impressive stadium tours and teamwork on stage, but HYBE feels that they have lost their spark as they are lacking in terms of attracting attention, good or bad. The document then went on to talk about Sserafim having incredible teamwork and the fact that fans trusted them to deliver a great performance, which gave the company enough reason to believe that they could increase their global reach and have them compete with some of the most popular boy groups. HYBE officials also pointed out how Blackpink's success at Coachella could apparently be easily replicated, but that the Sserafim members have to work harder to get many interactions with overseas celebrities. Taking notes on what not to do, HYBE also looked at avoiding the public controversies and blows to the image that Twice has dealt with over the years, as they are confident that Sserafim could achieve a similar level of stadium success. In the end, HYBE feels like if Sserafim manages to combine all the strengths of these two groups, it would be extremely easy for them to fill the gap that has been left in the industry from their glory days. Fans were truly shocked by how much HYBE seemed to focus on them, especially since every time any other girl group was managed, it all seemed to go back to Sserafim. This went beyond just taking notes for how to promote their artist, as even other groups' controversies were used as a gateway to uplift Sserafim. This has also led many to speculate why exactly HYBE is doing so much for just them when there are other artists who could benefit from the same amount of attention to detail. Fans have been discussing this for years now, as it's not a new thing either, and some believe that it might be all about the money that Sserafim managed to bring by being HYBE's first official girl group after BTS. As one person also put it might even be jealousy, as NewJeans' debut seemed to apparently overshadow Sserafim's not long after their debut. HYBE executives thought NewJeans were going to flop and put all the focus on Sserafim. But despite NewJeans having the perfect recipe for a great debut story, it's speculated that HYBE didn't like the fact that it had all happened out of their control. By uplifting Sserafim in every way they can, the group's success would be thanks to the company. However, reading these documents left fans shocked, as many responded with skepticism regarding HYBE's big plans after seeing Sserafim's activities this year. Some people simply felt ashamed on HYBE's behalf, as they called the comparison between Sserafim and other girl groups groups out of touch and said that they couldn't even finish reading the documents because of how embarrassing it was for the company. While netizens would love to see a group like Le Sserafim succeed, many feel that HYBE's intense ambition for Le Sserafim might not be grounded in reality. For HYBE to cast Le Sserafim in the same light as Blackpink and Twice, who are two of the most established and globally recognized acts, has raised more than a few eyebrows. The Coachella controversy in particular has become a focal point. When HYBE sent Le Sserafim to Coachella, they were likely hoping for a buzz similar to Blackpink's iconic performance there, which ultimately helped Blackpink break through the US mainstream market, but instead, Le Sserafim's performance didn't receive the same reaction as it was criticized for being lackluster and unpolished compared to what HYBE hoped that they would deliver. In the end, fans are hoping HYBE takes note of the backlash and reconsiders its approach. Le Sserafim is still a young group with much potential, but many feel that HYBE's ambitious goals may set them up for failure if they're pushed too hard too fast. Fans are also calling on HYBE to spread the love to NewJeans, who they argue deserve just as much of a chance to shine as one fan commented. Wouldn't it be great to be good to all your artists? While Korean survival shows often have a reputation for being inhumane, Starlight Boys appears to have set a new low in mistreating its trainees. With reports of alleged xenophobia and incidents leading to hospitalization during challenges, it has quickly gained a reputation as one of the worst survival shows, even after just 2 episodes. The survival show Starlight Boys, a South Korean Chinese production, quickly grabbed attention thanks to its star-studded mentor lineup featuring Big Bang's Daesung, singer-actor Lee Seung-gi, former IZ*ONE member Eunbi, Pentagon's Hui, The Boys' Eric, and Stacy's Yoon. The mentors weren't the only impressive thing about the show, as the contestant list includes Lee Da-ul and Kong Bi from Boys Planet, a few trainees from Youth With You, and Lee Hang-yul, a former member of X1. It officially premiered on October 26th, with 68 trainees from all over the world aiming to form a boy group from the top 9 contestants. The lineup, combined with the premise, had viewers excited to see what everyone had to offer. That was until the show started, at least. The controversy sparked right from the first episode when Japanese-American trainee Show teamed up with Japanese trainee Ryo Kai-2 to perform AB6IX's Breathe. The team delivered a great performance, both as a team and individually. Watching the two on stage together, you would think that they would be showered with praise from the mentors, but the reality couldn't be any different as Show received no stars. Seemingly disappointed by the whole thing, guider Choi Young-jun mentioned that Show didn't even have the foundational dancing skills, as he expected the trainee to be a great dancer too. In response, Show explained that he had never received any dance training and that this was his first attempt at singing and dancing at the same time. The other trainees were especially impressed by Show's dancing skills, especially since he had no formal training. However, Young-jun was uncertain if Show could handle all the challenges and missions relying solely on his passion. After the guiders have a discussion amongst themselves, mostly about his potential, Show receives no stars while Ryo gets one. Thankfully, Show doesn't seem demotivated by the whole thing, promising to do his best, but viewers were furious, especially at the double standards that were displayed in the show. The very next person who performed was Kim Song-ju, and even though the guiders had just seen him walk, they were already discussing his charm and potential. During his introduction, Song-ju mentioned that he is a model and has no prior experience in singing or dancing, which is similar to Show's situation. This becomes obvious when Song-ju begins singing Winner's Dorari. His movements appear awkward as he mostly walks on stage, incorporating only small parts of the choreography. The judges even note that his performance seems more like walking than dancing, leading viewers to believe he might receive a rating similar to Show's. Even the other trainees talk amongst themselves about how Song-ju would receive no stars. So imagine everyone's shock when he ends up getting 1 star just because they thought he was cute. When the mentors were discussing the rankings with each other, Lee Seung-gi briefly thought about giving him 0 stars due to his skills, but Daesung interjected, reminding them they were looking for idols. He argued that while Show was meant to be an artist, Song-ju had the qualities of an idol and the potential to succeed in that role, which is something that can't be taught. So in the end, he ends up receiving 1 star, with Choi Young-jun mentioning that he has a lot of potential and that he should work hard to make up for it. Viewers were completely shocked by this. Ryo and Show, both amateurs in this craft, delivered a solid performance, with Show even being one of the better vocalists out of the contestants. It also became clear that with a lot of dedication and hard work, they could become incredible performers and idols. But unfortunately, the judges failed to consider the potential in Show's case and just looked at his current skills, which were still much better than those of Song-ju's. While it's normal for survival shows to be tough rough on the contestants, fans accused the judges of xenophobia. A Twitter user mentioned, "The fact they graded him 0 stars because they expected someone with that face to be good at dancing, but he didn't live up to our expectations is just xenophobia." Another commenter noted that when a Chinese group performed a cute song but delivered an average performance, the judges criticized them, insisting that being an idol involves more than just being cute. To viewers and critics, it appeared that the trainees were being evaluated based on their nationality and skin color rather than their actual skills. A third Twitter user expressed frustration, pointing out that it was unfair for the judges to say someone wasn't as good as they expected, especially since they didn't know him or his skill level at all. Unfortunately, this isn't the only issue that people had with the judges, even Stacey's Yoon. Before this show, Yoon was one of the most beloved idols in the industry, known for her soft personality. However, the public's perception of her seemingly changed with only one episode. In this episode, the group showcased their performances in front of some of the mentors. After one team finished, the other contestants began to clap, but Yoon looked confused and asked why they were applauding. A clip of this moment went viral on social media, with viewers criticizing Yoon for being too harsh on the trainees. Netizens noted that the judges seem to nitpick at everything just so they can feel some sense of superiority over the trainees, with one of them writing, "All these judges are just using this show as an intense power trip. The clips I've seen from this all are disgusting." Some viewers said they were once fans of Yoon but changed their minds after this episode. They felt her behavior was unwarranted, arguing that she lacked the industry experience to act as a mentor in this competition or to be so harsh with the trainees. One user even suggested that she was projecting her own traumas onto the trainees, wishing that she would empathize with their struggles more. On the other hand, people said that Yoon was being unfairly criticized over a 10-second clip. Some viewers felt her comment was reasonable and not as bad as it was made out to be, believing that the performance the trainees applauded didn't deserve much praise. Others argued that, while Yoon might have come across as harsh, the level of hate she's receiving on social media, particularly Instagram, is unwarranted and unnecessary. Along with threats to her life, she's being bombarded with insults and blamed for things beyond her control. Many also suggested that the show is likely heavily scripted, making the backlash against Yoon feel even more nonsensical. As noted by one user, these judges had served as mentors on other survival shows without being nearly as harsh, leading people to believe that the producers may have instructed them to act tougher to draw public attention. But even if Starlight Boys was indeed scripted, it wouldn't change the fact that most people are comparing it to Squid Game rather than a survival show. In the second episode, all the contestants were instructed to dance on stage together so they could get evaluated by the mentors. Instead of taking turns with breaks, all the trainees started dancing to the signal song at once. Out of the 68, only 56 would advance, but until they were chosen, each contestant had to keep dancing to the song with just 30-second breaks between rounds. As trainees were gradually picked, breaks grew slightly longer. However, those chosen last ended up dancing through 19 rounds, nearly an hour of continuous dancing given the song's length. Some of the trainees, overwhelmed with exhaustion, began gasping for air, collapsing, and breaking down both physically and emotionally. As the rounds went on, it became too much for many trainees, and trainee Soon Young-hao had to call out for a break, calling out to the producers and reminding them that they were human, not machines. Challenges like this can be compared to interval training used by athletes, where they alternate between sprinting and resting, often jogging slowly instead of stopping completely. However, it's obvious that the trainees weren't ready for it, and the goal of the challenge seemed more focused on entertaining the audience rather than helping them improve as artists or performers. Many people even questioned the challenge's purpose, with one user noting that there are 68 trainees spread across 3 floors, but only 7 mentors to watch them. They argued that it was impossible for all trainees to get proper attention, meaning some would inevitably be ignored while still having to dance repeatedly, wasting their energy just to remain unseen. It was reported that some trainees even had to go to the hospital because of this part of the competition. Moreover, Lee Seung-gi's reaction to the trainees' exhaustion escalated the situation and fueled fans' anger even more. When Soon Young-hao urged the others to stop because of the challenge's impact on their health, Lee Seung-gi responded by acknowledging Young-hao's concern but emphasized that the goal was to demonstrate the trainees' dedication. He even likened the challenge to a concert, saying that idols usually have to perform about 30 songs, so not going through with this would deprive the audience of witnessing a performer's enthusiasm. Lee Seung-gi's response to the contestants' struggles, as they were pushing through just to avoid elimination, upset many viewers. For a challenge that left multiple trainees hospitalized and even brought some to tears as they watched their exhausted peers struggle, it's hard to understand why Lee Seung-gi thought it was a worthwhile idea. By not performing their entire set continuously, they avoid exhausting themselves, overheating, or collapsing, so Lee Seung-gi's argument doesn't really make sense here. The other judges are also facing criticism for not advocating for the trainees or calling for an end to the challenge. Even if the show is scripted, many believe they should have at least spoken up when they saw them collapsing on stage. As of now, there are only 2 episodes out, but there's already so much controversy that viewers and fans of the trainees are already calling for a boycott. From their perspective, backing the show means that they're supporting the mistreatment and struggles the participants are facing in pursuit of their dreams. They believe the only way to address this issue is to demonstrate to the producers that such harsh treatment of the contestants won't be tolerated. K-pop performances don't always live up to expectations, but some have truly shocked fans, becoming infamous for being among the worst disasters in entertainment history. Rookie singer Baek Ji-hyun, known by her stage name Ori, was only 15 when she made her stage debut in 2009, but things didn't exactly go as planned. Instead of receiving cheers, Ori's performance was met with a wave of harsh criticism, and it quickly became known as the worst debut stage in history. Even though it was her first time getting on stage, many comments didn't hold back and criticized her singing skills, with viewers leaving extremely harsh comments such as, "That was actually awful. Her voice cracked, barely on tune. It was difficult to watch at all." Because of her shocking debut stage, Ori quickly became the talk of the country, and rumors about her and her background started spreading quicker than one would expect. Some netizens questioned how a singer with such low skill even made it onto a show like KBS's Music Bank, which led to speculations that she either came from a rich family or had strong connections behind the scenes. Unfortunately, it seems like Ori was never able to salvage her reputation after this performance, as she eventually disappeared from the industry altogether. Years later, she admitted that the hurtful comments left a lasting impact on her, leading her to not only leave her agency, but also to give up on the entertainment industry entirely. NewJeans are one of the most beloved groups in the industry, but even they couldn't escape backlash as one of their performances created a huge controversy. During an Inkigayo performance of their song ETA, fans were shocked to see the members suddenly play out what they assumed to be a live iPhone commercial. The group has been known for endorsing Apple products. However, using performance for an iPhone ad space wasn't well received by fans, as they felt like the group had crossed a line. Some netizens even shared that the performance felt less like entertainment and more like an extended commercial. To them, the ad placement was intrusive, likening it to watching a teleshopping show during a music performance. Some even went as far as to question if NewJeans crossed the line set by the Korean Communications Commission on product placement, sparking debates on whether music shows should even allow this kind of advertising. On the other hand, fans of the group appreciated the creative way NewJeans integrated the phone into the performance, saying it fit the song's concept and added a trendy visual element. Not to mention, the entirety of the ETA music video was shot on an iPhone, so to fans, it didn't feel as weird to see the girls bringing the phones on stage. Despite the justifiable reasons the fandom presented, the public was still put off by the decision to bring out the phones and start recording in front of a live audience. As with every Blackpink concert, excitement ran high for their Born Pink tour stop in France last year, with fans being eager to see an unforgettable performance from the members. The concert managed to gather an audience of 55,000 fans, but even though most of the attendees had a good time, others witnessed what was said to have been a mediocre and extremely lazy performance. The French media, and particularly the newspaper Le Parisien, were overly critical of the show, labeling it as the worst summer performance and saying it was messy and full of missteps. The publication especially had a lot to say about the group's choreography, which, despite being known for being high energy and heavily rehearsed, was called out for being too textbook. Critics also noted that the members often seemed out of sync and called the overall performance unsuitable for the huge crowd that had gathered. However, the criticisms didn't end there. The publication also highlighted that the sound quality was just as bad, with microphones reportedly catching off-pitch singing. Even the concert's video footage was said to be shaky and poorly coordinated, making the performance look bad for anyone watching the screens. The review even pointed out a strange moment near the end of the show where Jennie suddenly walked off stage for no reason, leaving fans confused and giving the impression of unprofessionalism. Meanwhile, as if to distract, the 3 remaining members seemed to spend time giving a fan holding a sign their full attention, which to some felt very random and a waste of time. Upon seeing this review, Korean online forums lit up with disappointed comments, as many called the members lazy and unprofessional. One top-voted comment even said, "This was just, it wasn't it." It was embarrassing, to be honest. The perfection they had in their debut days is gone. Whether this concert was just an off night or a sign of the group having internal issues is unclear, but people couldn't help but be disappointed at them. Le Sserafim faced the same criticism, more or less, when they took the stage at this year's Coachella Festival. After it was announced that they would be performing, the public was hoping for an impressive show to represent South Korea on the world stage. Unfortunately, instead of applause, the group faced a wave of criticism from fans and netizens who felt their performance didn't live up to expectations. A significant part of the criticism centered on the group's live singing. Viewers noted that their vocal projection and pitch stability weren't the best and that they were often drowned out by the backing track. The backlash eventually got so big that Sakura was forced to address fans directly on Weverse, sharing that the members were proud of themselves and that they had truly put all of their strength into it. She even acknowledged the criticism but stood by their performance, saying, "The performance may have looked immature to some. However, nobody is perfect, and it is an undisputed fact that it was the best set among those we have shown." Sakura's heartfelt post did little to ease the controversy, as some fans believed that the group needed to make it up to audiences by delivering a better show next year. In fact, many fans felt that they still had a chance to prove they were capable of holding their own on an international stage, and that South Korea could one day feel proud to be represented by them. In the early 2000s, the Korean indie scene had become a true powerhouse in their music industry. However, one single performance suddenly wiped all indie bands off the radar for more than a decade. At the time, talented bands like I-DLE Soyeon, Garam, and Crying Nut were gaining popularity to the point that mainstream music shows were eager to spotlight the indie talent emerging across the country. NBC even launched a live music camp in 1999, which became a platform that featured indie bands weekly, giving many up-and-coming artists a chance to showcase their music in front of huge audiences. However, things took a horrible turn on July 30th, 2005, when a punk rock band named Rux decided to put a twist on their performance. They decided to invite members of other groups to join them on stage, trying to give the crowd a fun surprise, or so it seemed at first. Suddenly, as the performance neared its end, two members of the bands The Couch and Spiky Brats took things way too far as they removed their pants and began jumping around the stage completely naked. Around 4 to 5 seconds of their completely exposed bodies aired live to viewers across South Korea, which caused shockwaves throughout the country. Unsurprisingly, the two men faced immediate consequences as they were quickly arrested and charged with public indecency and interference with a business. They were even tested for substances, which did come back negative and eventually received 2 years of probation. Won Jong-hee, the member of Rux who invited the others on stage, also didn't get off scot-free as he too was arrested, despite insisting that he had no idea they would act so inappropriately. Either way, the damage was done and live music camp was cancelled almost immediately, eventually replaced by what we know today as Show Music Corps. NBC then went as far as banning indie bands from appearing on its shows from 2005 to 2009, and other major broadcasters soon followed with their own restrictions, nearly completely eradicating indie music from Korean TV. PSY aka Park Jae-sung might just take the cake for one of the most controversial and even terrifying performances, as fans were shocked to find out that he had taken the stage at a massive anti-US protest concert. When PSY's famous Gangnam Style took over the world, it especially captivated America as the US market became a significant reason for his continuous worldwide success. However, despite his popularity and the benefits he reaped from American audiences, people were shocked to find out exactly how he felt about the US. His feelings for the country truly darkened in 2002 when US troops were stationed on the Korean peninsula, something the population was heavily against. PSY participated in a concert protest where he smashed a model US military tank on stage to express his opposition to military activities. His performance was a direct response to how an American military vehicle had caused the lives of 2 Korean schoolgirls. This wasn't the only time that PSY directly opposed the American military either, as just 2 years later, he took things even further. In 2004, a South Korean missionary became a revenge victim in Iraq, all because of South Korea's support of the ongoing war led by the US in Iraq. PSY, enraged by what was happening to Korean citizens in support of the US, decided to rap his feelings out in another protest concert where he directly addressed American citizens, wishing incredible harm upon them for going after Iraqi citizens and personnel. As expected, the backlash against him was immense, so despite everything, he was still forced to come out with an apology. He released a statement in 2012 saying that he acknowledged the sacrifices made by American servicemen and women in defending freedom and democracy both in Korea and globally. He concluded by acknowledging that he's learned there are boundaries that shouldn't be crossed and apologized for how his lyrics were understood. Soo-man is currently making headlines due to his future plans to create a new girl group under a completely new company. But with the inclusion of AI and the troublingly young trainee ages, many doubt that this project has any chance of success. Ever since Soo-man left SM Entertainment in early 2023, the same company that he founded, many have been wondering what his next steps would be. After selling his 14.8% stake in SM and signing a contract with HYBE, he's also effectively barred from re-entering Korea's entertainment industry until 2026, so he doesn't really have many options left. Knowing this, he even allegedly requested HYBE to delete the clause, but HYBE denied the request, so he was left to pursue entertainment business in other countries, especially China. As expected, a few months after his departure from SM, in July of 2023, there were reports of Soo-man starting a couple of business deals in China, as well as conducting idol auditions for a new group. Allegedly, Soo-man had expressed his interest in the Chinese market for a long time, and since many SM artists have had very strong fan bases in China, it would make sense he would try to venture into the local market as well. In May of 2024, Soo-man applied for a trademark for a new company called A20 Entertainment, fueling the rumors about his return back to the entertainment industry even more. According to the documents, the company is set to produce various commodities that are related to entertainment, video game devices, advertising, even real estate, clothing, transportation, and food services. The agency is also described as a collaborative global artist development platform and operates under the acronym CAWMAN, which suggests various things we could possibly expect from them in the future: cartoons, animation, webtoons, motion pictures, avatars, and novels. However, it's hard to say which country the agency operates. The trademark for the company was registered in Korea, but Soo-man is still forbidden from promoting in the Korean entertainment industry. Then, in June of 2024, Soo-man was spotted roaming the streets of China along with a couple of very young boys, which led to suspicions that they would be the new trainees for his upcoming project. These pictures sparked a lot of concern among the public due to the boys' very young ages, but unfortunately, it's nothing new for idols to become trainees when they're basically still children. A couple of months later, in October of 2024, Soo-man was spotted in China once again, this time with SM's producer Yoo Young-jin and his niece Girls' Generation Sunny. The trio was photographed walking behind two alleged female trainees, making the public think that he would also debut a girl group. There's still some confusion about the lineup though, as reports indicate that a large portion of the trainees recruited by Soo-man may be from China. However, according to Star Today, Soo-man actually sought out his trainees domestically and wasn't hosting any public auditions. It's also alleged that one of the trainees was cast outside of Seoul. Despite conflicting reports, it appears that most of the group's members are Chinese, with one coming from Japan. On October 25th, 2024, an official video introducing Soo-man's new project was posted on the agency's YouTube channel. In the video, 15 trainees were introduced through 3 different categories: Rookie HTG, which stands for high teen girls, meaning female trainees that are 16 and older; Rookie LTG, meaning low teen girls who are 15 and younger; and Rookie LTB, meaning low teen boys who are 15 and younger. Judging by this, we can safely assume that instead of debuting one group, Soo-man might be heading towards presenting multiple teams to the public. The video also revealed plans to release music in an entirely new genre that the agency called Zalfa Pop. This type of music seems to be specifically aimed to appeal to what they referred to as the Zalfa generation audience. To explain, the so-called Zalfa generation is a mix of Generation Z and Alpha, so people who were born between the mid-1990s to the 2010s. The announcement video has garnered a lot of reactions from both Korean fans and international ones. Most of the comments under the video were positive and optimistic, especially about the group and the agency's future, as they are managed by the father of K-pop. One netizen wrote, "No one can stop Soo-man's passion. He's so good at scoping out new talent. Congratulations to Soo-man on the new batch of flowers in his garden." Another commenter pointed out that it's obvious Soo-man loves being in the entertainment business. Not all of the reactions were so kind and encouraging. Other online K-pop communities expressed surprise and even disdain at Soo-man's return, as well as the talents included in the video. Many pointed out that a lot of the trainees seemed very young, which still seemed to be the main concern. One netizen wrote, "I want someone to explain to me how putting children to work as idols who can't legally work a normal job at places like stores does not count as child labor." Another user added that they feel disturbed when children are picked out to be trainees solely based on their appearance, especially when the children haven't even gone through puberty yet. A third netizen voiced out their worries over how SM failed to treat their idols from China properly in the past, and how now his new group is made up of mostly Chinese trainees. A lot of people also noted that even though the video claims that some trainees are older than 16 years old, no one really seems to be older than that age. Since Soo-man can't technically operate in South Korea, it's also unclear if these trainees would be protected under the same laws as those who train and debut in South Korea. Over the last few years, several protective measures have been put into motion to prevent minor idols from being preyed on or endangered by the industry. Their working hours have been decreased significantly, and it's also now illegal for any company or management to interfere with the education of these minors. So, while South Korea has established rules to make the process as smooth as possible, it's hard to say if China or Japan has done the same. There's also the question of whether Soo-man will wait until it's okay for him to carry out activities in South Korea so these kids could fall under the new minor law, or if he will pursue promotions in different countries, but looking at his past, that's very doubtful. Not to mention the fact that Soo-man was basically the one who started slave contracts, which is why so many artists ended up leaving or even suing SM. So if he's known for treating his artists terribly and his foreign artists even worse, who's to say that he won't repeat the same practices with these new trainees? It's even more alarming knowing that most of them are very young and don't have anyone to protect them. As one user wrote, "The man who pioneered slave contracts shouldn't be allowed to work with children." Another thing that sparked concern was the promotional video itself, where two of the trainees appeared to be AI avatars. This is when the red light went off for many netizens, as AI has been quite a controversial topic in K-pop for a while. While it hasn't been confirmed if Soo-man's new group will use AI avatars as a part of their concept, it could potentially raise some issues. Generally, fans have various concerns about AI in K-pop, including its potential to undermine artistic expression, the environmental impact of its use, and reports that AI models have been trained using unauthorized media and data. Yet, Soo-man has used it for everything, from the photos on the company website to the banner on their Twitter account. One commenter also mentioned that Soo-man surely has enough finances to hire professional artists, so there's virtually no reason for the man to use so much generative AI. The rise of AI and deepfake technology has also mostly impacted female idols, making it especially frustrating when a leading figure in the industry uses it casually, as it seems dismissive of the serious issues at play. In fact, just a few months ago, JYP Entertainment and several other companies took legal action against AI and deepfake videos of female idols, expressing their grave concern over what's happening. It would be best if Soo-man abandoned this concept entirely, as relying on AI to re-enter the industry doesn't reflect well on him. In addition to the new group, there's also the possibility that Sunny could join the new agency as well. Since she left SM in 2023 and has currently not signed with anyone else, this could mean that she has the option to sign with her uncle's new company. Netizens also wondered who the producer for the new artist will be, and majority of them think that it's going to be Young-jin. The producer has been extremely dedicated to Soo-man, starting as a soloist and working himself to be one of the most legendary K-pop producers behind some of the greatest hits. And there's also the big question, does the group have the chance to succeed? With how saturated the market is right now, it's definitely hard for everyone to establish a name for themselves and keep up with the competition. A few people said that although Soo-man launched major K-pop groups and idols and once had access to incredible talent, it may be challenging for him to regain that success, as he is now starting over from scratch. Some trainees might not even see it as a very lucrative option to join his new company unless they think it's their only option to debut in the industry. It might be a while that we'll see any of Soo-man's new artists debuting in Korea due to his clause with HYBE, and it's possible it won't be until 2026 once the clause expires. So until then,